The company, its business model is a fully integrated PV manufacturer or integrated manufacturer. Can you sort of describe what that entails to people?
Yeah, that's the model we've chosen, and there are other models out there, but that's our model. And basically, we trade polysilicon. We're heavy traders. We have our own ingot and wafer plant in central China. On the coast, in Suzhou and also Changshu, we have our cell plants, and also 3 module plants. Most of our production is going to Europe at this time.
Is there, down the line, a lot of companies are looking at this more sort of distributed approach, so that when the markets are getting that strong in a region, you'll set up manufacturing facilities much closer to that market. Is that something that Canadian Solar is looking at in the future?
Not yet. We got our hands full just in terms of how fast we're growing. That's the issue, and also our capital requirements are going into our current plants. We probably have to stabilize our current supply stream, and then we would address that whether or not we want to do assembly plants in various locations. Assembly is a Chinese, if you're based in China, you have an advantage on an assembly basis, mainly because of the labor content of a solar cell or solar module. So it'd be a future thing. Not ruled out, but it'd be a future thing.
On your manufacturing side, obviously everyone has been limited in ramping capacity because of the polysilicon shortage. You've, as far as I'm aware, you've looked at using upgraded metallurgical silicon. What's going on there with that?
Well, it's an exciting project for us. We've started as we probably were the early mover without some pain. Okay, but what it does is we're using a metallurgical silicon, which is a byproduct of the aluminum smelting business, but it's a lower cost input. It's in terms of most solar modules have a purity of silicon in terms of 6 Ns, 0.9999, and solar only requires 5 Ns, and so that's metallurgical silicon. And so we've taken the metallurgical silicon and we've created a product line which is somewhere between our standard product line and also say some thin film that's coming out now. So we're somewhere priced like we're sort of a middle tier product, both price and quality wise, or efficiency wise. Quality is equal to in our opinion, equal to the standard product line.
I think when you're using the metallurgical grade, is that on on separate lines because you're using that for a different product?
Yes, it is. It's like a plant within a plant, right through the supply chain. And so there are cell lines dedicated now to UMG, they call it, and that goes. But once it gets to the module line, there are separate lines. There's no mixing, if that's what you're getting at, because there's a difference in efficiency. UMG probably 12 to 13%, where standard product line is 17, 18, whatever.
What can we expect from a manufacturing ramp megawatt level to be reached by the end of 2008?
Yeah. Well, Mark, we're a public company, but we give all kinds of information. So next year we're looking at 550 megawatts in that area, of which probably 150 to 200 will be UMG, and that's published information. So I'm not telling you anything out of.
Oh, no problem. No. What obviously a key aspect of all major PV manufacturers is reducing your manufacturing costs as an ultimate thing of cost per watt reductions. What is Canadian Solar doing specifically in the cost reduction strategies? Because it seems that you've been quite aggressive in going down that route.
Yeah, we don't know when the whole key in terms of pricing or costing of a solar module is the cost of high purity silicon. And that's a major component. And we don't know when there's a supply-demand situation coming at sometime in the future. We don't know when, and there's lots of forecasts out there when it's going to happen. But those forecasts so far over the last 3 years have been wrong. So what we've done is in terms of our cost reduction is in terms of the fully integrated strategy by going backwards into the supply chain. We're picking up considerable cost savings, which position us quite well for the future. And in the UMG, or the metallurgical silicon, it's because it's a lower cost feedstock. It gives us another product line which meets. When we look at the market seems to be wider than we think it is. Because the feed-in tariffs, like especially in Germany, are decreasing, so the standard module is now in competition with our metallurgical module.
Now, I'm assuming for both standard crystalline and for UMG, you'll be both looking at cost reduction strategies going forward for both of those. It's not just because UMG is cheaper, full stop, and you're not.
Yeah, UMG is like less costly. We don't like to use the word cheaper, but it's less costly. But again, it's all relative in terms of the positioning in the marketplace, and what consumers want and what consumers can buy, and also in our particular case, where the feed-in tariff, what level it's at. So yeah, we're cost reduction is an issue really across the board. There's two elements in that, both cost reduction in terms of taking money out of the supply chain or taking costs out of the supply chain, but also increasing the efficiency of the cells. That also gives us cost reduction.
Well, you mentioned there on the efficiency side, and what are your what's your roadmap for efficiency improvements? What are you expecting to reach maybe in a year's time, or where are you? You said about 17%.
Yeah, that's a nominal number that everyone uses. Most people measure cell efficiency and then subtract a percentage or a percentage and a half to get a module efficiency. But in terms of our standard modules, we're like very similar to us. So we feel we've got a quality module, and that's what we do. We're not doing anything radically different from anyone else, except we'll probably do a little bit of customization now because we've got our own cell plant. But it's those cells are. The technology seems to be creeping along at 1% increases every year. Okay, so it goes 17, goes to 18 the following year. In the UMG, because it's a new product and it's really at the beginning of the learning curve, and it's so we've gone through that little flat spot, and now it's accelerating. So when we first started off, we could, with our cells out of that, we could get up to let's say 190 watt module. We now see that we can get up to 200 watts with the same size of the module, and perhaps we also see now we can do 210. So we have a roadmap internally. We just haven't released it yet.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are worried about the feed-in tariffs being reduced, especially those announced in Germany, the potential for that in Spain. But it seems to me that you're trying to keep ahead of the game by pushing the cost down with this integrated, business model.
The reason, like I personally, and also my company and my president, CSIQ, we're in this business is that we feel that, that the solar will become competitive with grid tie, and to become competitive with grid tie, you're talking yourself down to $1 a watt in terms of selling price. And to get there, the biggest component of that is the cost of silicon, okay? And that has to go down. Like spot prices now probably in the 400 to 500 per kilogram versus long-term trend before that price rise of maybe $30 per kilogram. So there's a lot. That's where a lot of that cost has come out. And then so the longer term is that solar will be competitive with the grid, and then the grid system will become sort of a centralized, decentralized, just like a computer system where you have a host computer versus a PC. You'll have the same kind of thing happening in the solar world, in the electrical distribution world.